Good. Oh, good morning. I started the day yesterday laughing, and I'm starting the day today throwing stuff everywhere. Wait there. Oh my goodness. I'm just trying to use this mirror to block some of this light because it's a bit cocoony, isn't it? Right. Oh my goodness. Here we go. That's it. That's the way to start a Friday. Shake your bums. It is Friday, everybody. You made it. You made it. And guess what? Kimberly is the first past the post this morning saying good morning. Starters orders. Off we go. Here we are, Joanne Smith. Good morning. Today we are celebrating our 90th show. Since the beginning of lockdown, we have done 90. No, I lie. We've done 80 show up Wise Up Rise because we had one day off, didn't we, for Blackout Tuesday. But essentially, this is our 90th show. This is our 90th day of show up, wise up, rise up shows, which I'm just like, God, where has that gone? And B, this is becoming a thing. This is like, we're here now, aren't we? Like, I'm not going anywhere. It has certainly become part of my routine. So I guess we're all just stuck together for now. We're all just stuck together until somebody puts me on the telly instead of the fake telly on Facebook. At which point I will probably still do it because we have a laugh, don't we? And it's brilliant. And one of the things that I absolutely adore doing is sharing all of my incredible people that are in my circle, people that have come across me. I just bloody love it. Sharing what everybody gets up to and giving you guys, different ways to think, different stories to inspire you. And today is absolutely no different. But before we do, I was celebrating yesterday a little bit because it's not really something that I do for myself in terms of like kind of celebration. You'll have seen there's been lots and lots of things that have been going on. God, in the past 18 months. And yesterday, I was starting to get some like outside recognition in the form of I got a nomination to the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, which is a big one. So there have been lots of like super huge brands now that have won this in the past. And to be nominated and to be a finalist is just, I'm like, it came through day before yesterday. You've been nominated for the Entrepreneurial Spirit Award and the Entrepreneur for Good Award. And I was like, okay. But all of this had been judged already. So the shortlist came out yesterday for the finalists, and your girl's only gonna bloody got to be a finalist. Like, what's that about? Oh, it's the regionals. We find out more on, I want to say it's the 27th. The 27th of September is when the regional finals are, which is a online event that you guys can attend if you want to come and cheer me on. I don't think you can vote, Becky. There's a judging panel that happens that kind of we can't be a part of the process of. All we've got to do, I figure, is just keep showing up the way that we're showing up, keep doing what it is that we're doing, keep giving back and giving to each other the way that we are. And I don't think, what do we have to do that's any different? We're still going the way that we're going. We're still doing the things that we're doing. We've still got Be Inspired in September. We've still got the book launch and the launch of the Fly Anyway Foundation coming up in November. So do you know what I'm going to do? Nothing different. I'm just going to carry on doing all the things that we're doing and keeping on that trajectory. You'll have noticed I've got no makeup on this morning. I just couldn't be bothered. I'll be frankly quite honest with you. I couldn't be bothered putting my face on. And you know what? Sometimes that's all right. You don't always have to put the full face of makeup on. I know I said a couple of weeks ago that I was going to turn up every morning. I was going to put a fabulous makeup on. And I thought, you know what, this morning, I don't. I've got a big drive ahead of me today. I'm driving down to Birmingham. I'm going to be doing a planning weekend, taking the flip chart down with the incredible Deep Badgerois from Opulence Events London. We're going to be mapping out the launch event, the book launch, and what that looks like. If anybody has ever seen any of the events that Deep Badgerois and Opulence Events London have done, they do celebrity events, big, big, big old events. So yeah, I'm just incredible to have Deep in my circle. And to be working on that event with her. We're going to be working on some aspects of the book, and also we're going to be doing some future planning for her business. And one of the really cool things about having great friends in business is that when you take time away from everything, create some bandwidth between you, it's a really good spot to be in. I will be in Brum, Joanne Smith. We're going to be holed up in an Airbnb in Brum because it's the midpoint between us because she's in London. So thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for all of the love. It really, honestly, you know it does. It means the world. One of the things that I always go forward with and I always lead with is absolute gratitude. And I don't know what this is here. And I'm so grateful to be a part of anything. So yeah, I'm just really super made up. Well done you. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Sarah. Are you great? The way you've come on in the last 12 months is just amazing. It's been a strange one. You look great anyway. Good skin. Thank you. I grew it myself. I wish I was there. I've got FOMO. Oh, we wish you were there too, Nikki. And we've got loads of things planned for this year as well, especially with the Rockstar Level Up, which is just amazing. So many cool things that are happening. Becky, last night we watched old videos of you from December when you did your show in the front room. You've evolved so much with your tech. Yeah, I mean, well, we've had to, and one of the things that I don't like to compromise on is quality of the stuff that I'm putting out. I don't think that was from December when I did a show in my front room. I don't think I did it in my front room. It was March, right at the beginning, the very first week of lockdown. So, like 18 weeks ago, something like that. Hot tub and fizz on offer if you want to pop in. Oh, Joanne Smith, you naughty sausage. um, we have got a pretty packed weekend. In fairness, we've got 2 tabletop flip charts each. We've got 2 packs of post-its each, and we are going to plan the shizzle out of the next 12 months. So we're really excited about doing that. Superstar Dani, Superstar Diane Ivory. Superstar Diane Ivory has been filming with CBS, very on Telestar in our midst. She beat me to it. The absolute wonder nugget that is Diane Ivory. So, shall we get the shit weather done? I've just left this one here because once again in Preston it's a bit shit. Although elsewhere in the UK, judging by your Facebook statuses this morning, you glorious lot, we've got quite a little bit of Scorchio going on. So tell me, where in the world are you and what is going on with the weather? Tell me, it's time for the shit weather. We almost need a jingle, but a jingle would make it look too posh and then it wouldn't be the shit weather anymore. It would just be the good weather. And that's no good. It's got to be the shit weather. So I've got loads of Scorchios on hand because I've got a feeling that the rest of the UK is looking quite good. So tell me what is popping, whereabouts you are. If you are watching in the IATQB Hive, which is our free community, make sure you get amongst the announcement that is pinned in there. There is an opportunity for you to be able to join Chocolate PR's membership group for 2 whole months. To do some learning around your PR and also having a look at your PR opportunities. So if PR is on your list of things that you need to get amongst, make sure you are in the IATQB Hive anyway. But if you want to get hold of that juicy prize, and there are some more juicy prizes coming up on Monday, courtesy of my operations manager, the incredible Danielle Hanson from Pretty Practical Business, you're going to want to be in there. So things are getting a little bit jiggy in the hive at the moment. The IATQB Hive, spell it like this, IATQB. Just search it, go and join it, and I'll let you in a bit. All right, so what's popping? It's a bit shit. Oh, I wasn't expecting you all to start saying this. It's a bit shit down here. It's a bit shit over here. Where else is it? Have we got some Scorchio? I'm sure I saw somebody in Yorkshire this morning and it was a bit Scorchio. Becky Jones, I think Berry can be covered by the Prestons. It's a bit shit because we're quite close, aren't we? Let me know where you're watching from in the UK or indeed abroad. We are a global show now. We have people watching all over the world. It's Friday. It is Friday, and I am so happy. It's been a hell of a week here again. I feel like every week I go, oh, it's been a hell of a week this week. It has been a hell of a week. We started the week with national newspaper coverage. We finished the week with a nomination to a national award, and it's all just a bit awesome. So what have we got? It's dull as in Oldham. I don't know why I'm holding back. It's not sunny, not shit. Sunshine bee is expected later. We'll put a preemptive sunshiny bee because I'm on my way down there to Birmingham today. Oldham, I think we're covered in the northwest, but we'll move me up and we'll move that there. Oh, it's not what I expected. I had all these sunshiny bees ready for you all this morning and we're not using them. Never mind. It's all right. It's sunshiny in our hearts because it's Friday. What are you all up to this weekend? What have been your achievements this week? Put them in the comments. I want to shout you out and celebrate you. If you are watching on my personal profile, Dani Wallace, please make sure you jump over to the Queen Bee, Dani, if you're commenting, because otherwise I can't see your comments. I don't know why. I've asked support and they've not heard back yet. So, all right. It's sunny in Berkshire. Where is Berkshire? Right, I'm going to pretend that Berkshire is here, and then you're going to tell me otherwise. Sarah Savory. I'm going to say Berkshire's around there. I don't know. But without further ado, we are going to bring in our guest this morning. It is my absolute goal to bring lots and lots of people from lots and lots of different backgrounds. We've had light workers down south, southwest. All right, over here, this side, like Berkshire, over here. I'm going to do that. Down south, anywhere below the Watford Gap. I've done well, that'll do. So, it's been my aim to bring as many different types of people to you as absolutely possible. So we've had light workers on the show, we've got business coaches on the show, mindset coaches on the show, inspirational people on the show. We've got an incredible story to tell. Today we have a healthcare professional on the show. So it's time for the science bit with the incredible, the fabulous, the glorious Louise Fusari. Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm just like, I've been sat there for ages, like, oh, get me in there.
It takes a little bit for us all to get ourselves in and get us all a little bit snuggly and sit down and ready. I don't want to have you on whilst we're sort of building the audience. We'll let the algorithm push us out first and then bring you on, because then here you are.
Yes. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. You are resplendent in hot pink this morning, Louise.
Yes.
Sorry. You look gorgeous. You are absolutely on brand. Yes, you are resplendent. We are resplendent in hot pink. Louise, sorry, I can't say your name unless I'm speaking to you directly, at which point it's just Emma when we're talking as friends. I can't not say your name all in one go.
Yeah.
Do you get that? And listeners, watchers, do you get that where the people that you see online, even though they're your friends, when you talk about them, you've got to say their whole name if you see their name all the time on Facebook?
Well, it's funny you say that because Poppy, my eldest, her drama teacher, every time I used to go and pick her up from class, he would be like, hello, Louise Fusari, how are you doing? Like, because he just used to see me on social media. That's just what he would remember. So it wasn't Emma, it was just Louise Fusari. So
yeah, exactly.
I prefer Elf because it's nearly Christmas.
I love it. Do you know what? I'm not being funny, but at the rate of knots that these weeks are whizzing by us, it is nearly Christmas, which shocks and frightens and amazes and astounds me all in the same breath. So Emma, tell us about what it is that you do.
Okay, so in a big nutshell.
Big one, and then we'll break it down.
Yeah, so I've been a nurse for over 18 years now. As you can see, it's taken its toll. And my company is In-House Health, and we help digital, creative, and integrated marketing agencies improve their team performance and reduce their turnover rate of staff, so improve their retention rate through employee health data and a awesome solution to workplace health and well-being.
Right. So that's the big nutshell.
Yeah.
What's the little nutshell? What actually do you go and do? So you've got incredible solutions that you go into, particularly more corporate style businesses where they have a workforce.
Yes. Yeah.
And
So,
then what happens then?
and then, so we provide each individual member of staff with a in-depth, really thorough health check. It gives them an opportunity to speak with a nurse to alleviate any negativity or worries that they have about their own health and well-being, and we provide them with recommendations for them to take their own personal action, because it's really important that people are responsible for their own health. Yeah. But following that, we create anonymized organizational report which allows workplaces and businesses to be specific with their initiatives, with their health and well-being strategy, with their KPIs, because too many people are doing oh, we've got yoga, or we've got cycle to work, or we've got
coming around doing back massages.
Yeah. Well, these all have their place, but I'm sorry, Fat Bob in accounts is not going to put Lycra on and start doing yoga in his lunch break just because work's providing it. That's for Skinny Susan. She's already going to the gym. She's already healthy. So how is that helping the people that actually are at risk of heart attack or stroke, or at risk of a mental health disorder through increased stress and anxiety? So it's about highlighting where the real problems are and giving tangible solutions that and hold the business's hand throughout that, and then obviously reevaluating and make sure that what they are spending on these things, they're getting a return on investment. Because let's be honest, businesses have to make money, and and this is the whole point of it. For me, it's a win-win. Individuals improve their health and well-being, and they have a healthier, happier life, but businesses also improve the bottom line profits, and everyone's a winner then.
And it's not something that people immediately add up, is it? Especially within the corporate. So they know they've got to do something. They know they've got to do something to support their staff. And you think about it, you spend more of your life, or for the most part, the majority of us as a society spend more of our life at work than we do anywhere else. Yeah. So, places of work should take more of a vested interest in the health of because they're the ones that are almost providing the health. Like, they're the ones that have got the platform for the health. Because if they don't provide the right kind of environment or the right mix of situation for people, it will directly adversely affect them, from how their tables are set up all the way through to how much stress and how job descriptions are created, right?
Yeah, completely. And I think if anything, this pandemic has kind of highlighted the importance of an organizational point of view, so flexible working, remote working, but also actually, if your staff are ill, then your business is just going downhill. So it should be health and well-being in the workplace should be something you do, not just because you have a corporate social responsibility, a word gets about, but because it's the right thing to bloody do.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've got anything about you, and you you're a business owner, then really you should be caring for the people that are your biggest asset.
Yeah. And it's often within corporate that KPIs are quite heavy, and they are tightened and tightened and tightened and tightened and tightened in the name of efficiency. So much so that it drives things like presenteeism, which now, when we're in the global pandemic, is a scary prospect. Presenteeism, which is that when you're feeling ill, you're still turning up to work. When you're sick, you're still turning up to work. That whole presenteeism it's almost kind of gone the other way, where yes, people do call in sick days. Of course they do. Like, I'm guilty of having done that myself, but they're almost mental health days. If you feel like you can't get out of bed and go to work, when you call, the days when you go out, do you know what, I'm just going to call in sick and I don't even think I'm sick, there's something in your brain that is saying you need to take some space. And that's a mental health day as much as anything else. But conversely, I remember feeling under so much pressure to go into work that I would go in and I would be ill. I remember going out on a lunch break and having my wisdom tooth took out at an emergency place. So they didn't faff about with things like, they did a little bit of anaesthetic, but I went back to work for the rest of the afternoon like this because I was frightened of going home. And are there conversations that you have with these companies about that? Do they experience presenteeism?
Yeah, I think the managers and the owners that are on the ball recognize it. It's the ones that are kind of shut off from that don't. Like, I mean, you're just saying there you've gone back to work after having a tooth extracted. How much work did you actually do? Not a lot. So actually,
I was like this.
What are you offering the business apart from that? The whole surround yourself with people that are positive and going places. It's the same in the workplace. If people are ill or down, it's just spreading to the other people. So it's it's bringing it down. Presenteeism is a tough one because it's really difficult to measure. But the recent research shows that for every £1 you lose to absenteeism, a business is losing £2.50 to presenteeism. Right. So that's massive. There's another new word out there which is called leaveism, and it's when people are using overtime, holidays and stuff like that to catch up on work, to care for people and things like that. So when people should be getting a break, they're using it to catch up and taking work home with them and stuff like that. So that's something that needs to be nipped in the bud as well.
So what brought you to that? So you had 18, so you're a registered nurse, you've been nursing for a number of years.
Yes.
What brought you to coming out of, I'm assuming, the NHS and not private practice? I'm not assuming, I do know this. Out of the NHS, what brought you from that to this? What was the journey from that to this?
So I am from a general practice background, so I was a practice nurse. For anyone that's your nurse in your local GP surgery, not somebody that's still learning. it's a silly name, really, isn't it?
Practice nurse. She's not a real nurse yet.
I'm rubbish. I've been practicing for 18 years. So I was in general practice. I loved it. I loved my patients. I loved what I was doing. I loved the fact that it was one-on-one, and I could spend time and empower people and educate them so that they could take responsibility and ownership for their own health and actually see the businesses. But practice managers, they're under the cosh from government and how they get paid and stuff like that. So it was just
becoming... And their expectations as well. Like, I've noticed that our practice manager, practice manager and practice nurses they're doing more and more and more and more and more of almost the doctors, where you can see their workload getting heavier and heavier and heavier. You can see it.
Yeah, but with that, they're also reducing your appointment time, and what that becomes is a tick box exercise and a conveyor belt of people. And for me, it was so small-minded and so short-sighted that actually, if you have 10 minutes with someone and you're just sticking a plaster on, they're going to come back 3, 4, 5 times a year to have that plaster stuck back on. They're going to end up in hospital with an exacerbation. It's so short-sighted. If you take 1 hour and spend time and educate them, then I was finding that I couldn't get people back in because they were well. Nobody had spent that time with them, and that's why I became a nurse, to help people, and that just wasn't happening in real life. So I thought, you know what, I was getting the stress symptoms, the anxiety symptoms. I was dreading going into work, and I thought, do you know what, life's too short for this. So I left, and then I was like, oh my God, what do I do now? So I set a childcare business up, so I became a childminder. And then back in 2018, at the end, start of 2019, I thought, I've got all this knowledge. It's a bit cheesy, but it's my passion to help people.
We should own this. It's fine.
And kind of impart that knowledge on people, and actually to come up with in-house health, I looked at the NHS health checks, which if you're between 40 and 74, you're eligible for an NHS health check every 5 years. And in the last 13 years, there's only been a 40% uptake. Why is that? And the problem is in this country specifically, if we don't have a problem or we don't think we've got a problem, we're not interested in preventative. We wait
Right.
until it's too late. Plus, also, if you look at the working population, 27% of the working population is age 50 and above. But with all the pressures of work, people aren't going to take time out of their day to go to their GP if they can get a bloody appointment in the first place and
Right.
say, that half an hour appointment is an afternoon off work, because where people work and where the GP is two different
Two different
places.
things. Yeah, absolutely.
So I thought, well, actually, the wider image was for me to collect this information and share it with Public Health England, with NHS England. That's a really difficult process to buy into. But we, like you said in the beginning, we spend so much time at work. It's a perfect platform for people to be raising awareness of health and well-being. So why not use it? But let's cut
Yeah.
out the fluffy shit of yoga and fruit and cycle to work, which it has
The
its place.
holistic stuff, which is fab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has a place, but let's find out what the problem is first, because actually, if you're just doing all these fluffy things and you don't know what the problem is, you're never going to get to the root cause
Yeah.
or solve it. So you may as well burn your money.
Exactly. Yeah. It could be like, even now, it could be, you know, offices not being set up in terms of being conducive for transfer of germs.
Yeah,
So, or it could be the ergonomics of the desk, or it could be the, blood pressure, what's causing the stress.
yeah,
It's not, you're right. Being more specific about things actually really, really helps businesses target what specifically they need to do to make sure that people remain well and in work for the right reasons,
yeah,
instead of in work for the wrong reasons, which is just because they feel like they have to, even if they are not, you
yeah.
know,
But what workplace?
working.
Yeah, offering a benefit of workplace health to your employees and actually doing it the right way, showing that you care, has so many other benefits: improved communication and boosted morale, boosted productivity, creativity. So why would you not do it? And going back to kind of environmental working practices, in the industry, the tech industry where I've kind of niched into,
Yeah.
is a lot of it is these big glorious open plan workspaces, and actually at least 20% of the tech population is neurodiverse.
Yeah.
How are you going to get the most out of someone when they can't function because they can
Because they
hear
can't
somebody play
focus, too
ping
much
pong
going on.
or somebody making a brew or whatever? So it's a lot. At the end, it's hard for employers because, you know, we go into business because we want to do something, not because we want to look after all these people. It's like having kids
Yeah.
again, and there's so
Yeah.
much for them to do, and that's why they should be passing it over to someone like me.
It's a professional that, yeah, where
Yeah,
they kind of have to take the thinking away from it. And do you know what? That was such a light bulb moment for me then, you know, e- especially within, big tech corps, and having them. It is, like you say, if 20% of people, 20% of your work population are neurodiverse, and you are not creating a work environment conducive or comfortable even for them to be working. My mind has just been blown, because obviously that is not something that I've thought about before. And there are so many people that I know that are neurodiverse, and these conversations are not so much more important. They're important anyway, but
yeah,
to be leading the way with this kind of thinking is just honestly absolutely phenomenal, Ems. Absolutely phenomenal that there's somebody like you out there that is looking at this specifically. Because it's like you say, it isn't just about stretching every 5 minutes and doing like office exercises together. It isn't about that, is it? It's about creating a work environment conducive to everybody that's working there, as many people as possible that are working there. Um, I would be interested to know from those of you that are watching, what are your experiences of, workplace health provision, and what are your experiences of lack thereof? Um have you been prone to presenteeism? Have you been prone to, what are your fears around coronavirus? And Emma, how has this pandemic affected the way that you think about your business, or has it affected the way that you work with your clients?
Well, first of all, my health checks were all face to face.
Oh,
In organisation, I do
from a
everything
business
within
perspective.
in the workplace. So I've had to look at taking going to online consultations. But there
Mhm.
was a bit of a I had to kind of work out because I do a lot of risk scores, so cardiovascular disease risk score, type 2 diabetes, heart age, stuff like that.
Mhm.
I had to make sure that without physical parameters like blood pressure and BMI and stuff like that, that the
Yeah,
calculations were still close enough to be able to offer the service online for what I'm doing.
yeah,
And there's not too much of a difference. So the offering is a 45-minute health check online with each individual, and then a 10-minute mini health check catch up when because a lot of workplaces are going remote first because
Mhm.
the digital companies it's quite easy for them to do, but they
Yeah,
will always I think they will always have some sort of hub or a base for people. You know, you've done a lot of work through domestic abuse
must.
and violence. You know, being at home, it's not all hunky dory for some people. I've just got involved with WIC Digital, who is a social enterprise, who are getting young people. They're providing apprentices for an accelerator program for young
Right.
disadvantaged people to provide them with a career in digital marketing.
Oh,
And
amazing.
I'm involved in delivering health and well-being to them, almost kind of warning them about the dangers and pitfalls of going into this industry and equipping them with coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
Um, and oh my god, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's all right. I mean, that
I'm
was
just what was I saying before that?
you were saying about the accelerator programs for disadvantaged people, for well, disadvantaged young people.
Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway,
That's all
next.
right. It's all good. Hey,
It'll come back to me.
it's all good. It is all good. It
I've
is
gone
all
down
good
a
things
leafy
that you're
lane.
saying.
Leafy lane.
I'm just going to go to what some of you guys are saying here. Pete White is really interested in having a conversation with you. I'd love to chat with you, Emma. We have very similar goals with our businesses and views towards well-being. Amazing. Sarah Savory, I'm in the tech corporate world and this is so relatable. Yeah, it is. It is. And it wasn't that long ago. Well, I say it wasn't that long ago with our time slipping away. It was 8 years ago that I left corporate. And I've worked in big offices and really, really small offices, and the problems are all still very, very similar if they've not got their eye on the ball. When it comes to health and well-being, the corporate world is very box ticky and knee-jerk reactions when someone goes wrong without any real direction or idea whether it's the right thing to do. Yeah, and it's like that's why having somebody like Emma come in to who's had vast experience of this, with many clients. So you've seen lots of different outcomes for lots of different people. So you know exactly what works and exactly what doesn't work. That's why, having somebody not just to do the health checks, but to meet and be able to be a consultant with regards to what those solutions could and should be to keep
Yeah.
everybody safe is what is so important. And it's also one of the kind of forgotten things in so when you set up a business, you don't think, oh, I've got to get a healthcare professional in to come and think about, we need to shout about what RMA does so that more businesses get to see how they can help going forward. What about is that kind of because we're talking about health? What about the knock-on effects hereafter for everything that's happened with the pandemic? How do you see you fitting in to that?
Well, I think health research has shown that I keep coming back to research all the time. It's
You
kind
need to
of
come back to
is
research because it is
everything
what
is
it is.
evidence based. So research has shown actually that health and well-being is shown is it's a we would like. It's not a must-have for a business. It's we would like, or that looks a bit nice. We'll have that. And research has shown that after every recession, so like the last financial crash, these we would like become a we need or we must have,
Yes.
because it's so important. But specifically with the pandemic that we are going through is that it's impacted on people in so many different ways. Nobody, we've never been told before to stay in your homes, don't come down. The early information coming out is that the social isolation that people have experienced has increased an already time bomb of mental health conditions.
Mental health issues.
There's been an increase in alcohol consumption. There's been an increase in poor nutrition and lack of exercise. And all this is going to have a knock-on effect, not to mention the anxieties, stresses and worries of people that are not just concerned about their own health and going back to a normal way of life, but of that of their loved ones and people that they're caring for. People have been through bereavement. People have had COVID, and the long-term impact or detrimental impact on their health is unknown. We're on uncharted
territory.
With what's going to happen. I am involved with a women in tech group, and there are some awesome and amazing women in there, and they're part of a group that is looking at kind of how do we manage long-term health effects of COVID going forward. What does that look like for people that either didn't have pre-existing conditions or people that already had pre-existing conditions, like I mean, it's predominantly respiratory, so your asthmas and COPDs, but lots of there's new stuff coming out all the time that impacts on memory and lethargy and all this stuff. So it's something that as a population we're going to be dealing with for a long time, and that's if bearing in mind that there may be another spike in the winter or whatever. So
and so having been a nurse, especially within a GPs for such a long time, I mean, we're speculating here, and we're like, this is not conspiracy. It's speculation. What are your thoughts around that second wave? Like, what do you think there's going to be one come in, or do you think it's a scare tactic, or do you think that what are your thoughts around that?
I don't know really, because in my opinion, the government is messed this up big style, and how they've dealt with it.
I think a lot of people would be in agreement with that.
Their communication's been piss poor, excuse my language, at this time in the morning.
No, it's all right, you're on my show, you can swear all you like.
I've been watching programs like about the Murdochs, for example, and how they influence the media so much, and it's just, there's so much out there, but we can't deny that it has truly impacted on people. In terms of a second wave, we're in the northwest, Dani, so we never really come out of the winter months.
No, it's right. You're looking outside, and it's not even big coat weather, and it's all overcast and rainy.
But if you look at the people that have been impacted the most, so if you look at the BAME community, the reason that they have had the most deaths, been impacted the most, is not because of their ethnicity. It's because of their social circumstances, because of the housing, because of the poor quality of life and the health inequalities associated with that. So that is associated with dampness and all the other things. So it makes sense that in the winter there will be a rise. And I've seen today that the government will be offering the flu jab to those age 50 and above now, rather than 65.
Rather than 65,
So they're expanding the vaccination with the flu, and that is purely, I think, just from a kind of management.
That's all they can do at the moment. Manage influenza, and then whatever else happens, then they'll attempt to look after that then, because the people most afflicted by COVID-19 have been people that are, 50, 60 and plus. Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people are hanging on or waiting for a vaccine and stuff like that. And, this is just my personal view as someone who was nicknamed the vaccinator, because that was a huge part of my childhood, travel ins, flu vaccines, like the B12, the lot. I used to, a needle, is that, and I'm type 1 diabetic. So I am in the, diabetics are 3 times more likely to die from COVID.
Yeah, I saw that statistic.
And I've got lots of autoimmune diseases. I, for one, would not be rushing to be having any new vaccine, because I know the black triangle that's put on a new drug, and it might stop COVID, but what else could it impact on
What
it in
else?
your health. So I won't be rushing out to get that. I do have my flu jab every year, and I make sure that my kids have it if they can.
There's a
But
reason why it takes over a decade to bring a new medicine to market, and it isn't because they like to fanny around.
yeah,
Is, you know, like whatever anybody thinks about big pharma, whatever anybody thinks about vaccinations, the fact that they have to do such rigorous testing to get it to point of sale, I guess, it is point of sale, because it's not to point of giving it away, is it? To
yeah,
get it to point of sale is that they can get some sort of time based data on the outcomes, like
yeah,
how were you afterwards. And if they've only just got the right now, the not that I want to scaremonger, like if you want to go and get vaccinated, if a vaccine becomes available, you go and get vaccinated. If you don't want to go and get vaccinated, this is that, you know, we're all here in a place of kindness, and whatever it is that you guys want to go and do it. But for me, I'm kind of with you, like, where if they've only got short-term data that it assists in the immediate, what's, you know, what else are you opening yourself up to later on? And the answer is we don't know. And it just it
yeah.
makes me feel uneasy. It makes me
Yeah,
feel
well,
uneasy.
when you take the flu jab, for example, it's been out for a very, very long time. The flu vaccine, it just used to be one strain of flu,
One type of flu.
and it was predicted on down under and kind of what flu they were getting. So we'll take the risk and we'll use this based on the data from there. This is the strain we're going to go with. Then they had two strains in. Then they had a trivalent vaccine which had three strains of flu in. Then they added the H1N1 from the swine flu, and now it's a quadrivalent vaccine. But that's been over a 20-year period, and that's of a disease that's been around forever. So I like you say, it's up to people to make their own informed decisions. The same with childhood vaccines and whatever. I'm pro-vaccine. For myself and my own children, I think the world's a better place without all these diseases that we used to die from. But it's each individual's choice, and that's something I would never enforce on anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's well worth the conversation. It's well worth the conversation because, we are edging ever closer to, having had we've had a lot of money spent on, finding vaccines, and there's a lot of controversy out there, and the conversation's getting louder. And again, with any of the minority communities that are out there, having that conversation as well, that it is important that we as a wider community start to accept the fact that there is still lots of inequality out there, and that inequality manifests itself in poor health. And I just honestly found the whole thing extraordinarily fascinating.
That's where a lot of the problems lie, because of the difference in culture, the difference in beliefs and values for different communities. And we've seen the Black Lives Matter. Actually, I'm a white woman trying to tell an Asian person or a black person that this is what you should have, and it's not part of their culture or their community. So we need to be getting champions from those communities that can impart this health advice on them, and almost get the education at grassroots level back into these communities, and not from a Boris Johnson on the front of a newspaper chatting shit.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, this is it. With his thumb over the top of his fist like this. So what's next then? What's coming up next for you?
Trying to raise the profile of my business, trying to get out there and inform business owners that there is a better way. There is a real solution out there, and how we can improve business life and improve their local communities as well. I'm involved with two amazing projects. So the first one is the WIC Digital, so imparting knowledge and kind of giving young people coping strategies for them going into the workplace before they've even started. That's supported by the Printers Trust and Google, so it's really exciting. And then I'm involved with Wellbeing Lancashire. So we are a group of wellbeing experts that have come together to make wellbeing a top priority for people living in Lancashire. So that's looking at organisations, individuals and communities. And we are going to challenge the status quo of health and wellbeing in Lancashire, which is, it's the gateway to the north. It's quite a large area, but with no apologies, we're just going out there and shaking the shit out of it to make it a top priority. So that's two things I'm involved with separate to kind of trying to get into more corporate businesses and raising the profile. It is a new startup for me, and I'm learning as I go. I'm not a businesswoman. I'm probably doing myself a bit short there, but
you are doing yourself very short there. I know you very well, and I know that you're a very astute and incredible businesswoman.
I'm just from the I've never been in corporate before, so trying to navigate that landscape and.
That's it, isn't it? It's the new thing. And this is for everybody who's watched this morning, I know has been fascinated by the conversation, has been interested by the conversation. You obviously know what you're doing. And like for all of you that are listening, even the people that are incredibly learned about situations or industries that you might not be aware of still feel this, oh, I'm a little fishy entering into this world, or that little bit of imposter syndrome. Everybody gets it. But then when you see just the incredible work that you do, the amount of knowledge that you have, the good that you are capable of doing, any of the businesses that are out there that are watching, that are listening, you need to be giving our Emma Louise Fusari a shout. And start looking after your people in a way that is more visceral, in a way that is more than Indian head massages of a lunchtime, because it is, although they are fabulous, and I highly recommend an Indian head massage, actually, there are more things you need to think about. I think definitely the light bulb moment for me has been workspaces that are conducive to those that are neurodiverse, and having a consultant for that is just so important, because our neurodiverse community have so much to give business, much to give business, and we need to be looking after them all. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, Emma Louise Fusari, you absolute belter.
Thanks for having me, and I'm just going to do a plug. If you want to,
it's like a la carte chatty man. Tell me about your book.
No, I don't have a book yet. I've got lots of downloads, but I have 10 quick wins to improve well-being for your remote team. If you have a team or your work, just download it and give it to your boss if they're crap. And it's bit.ly / let's get this right. Remote team well-being.
Amazing. And if you could pop the links to that in the comments on the Queen Bee Dani page on this, it would be brilliant. So anybody that comes across it can come and find the information. Sarah Savory is just saying, and this is one of the things that I love about the IATQB community, any assistant chats you want about corporate or insights I can share, please reach out. I would love to help. This is something that Sarah is incredible at. So do connect. One of the things that I absolutely adore about the I Am the Queen Bee community is the fact that we do link arms, and we do see where we can help and provide value to each other as well. So if this has been interesting to you, if this is something you're watching and you're thinking, do you know what, my boss could do with this information. It might not be that your boss is watching this right now, but if you're not the boss. I remember being in corporate and seeing things and printing them out and giving them to my boss and saying, do you know what, have a look, and then them going on to actually implement something. If you've got somebody great in your organization that's like that, do, because you have the opportunity to do something really incredible for your businesses that you're working within. So Emma, it is Friday.
Yes.
If there is a song that you would shake your bum to, and we've shaken our bums together in a number of situations and soirees and parties. No, out and about. That sounded ruder than I intended. Oh my goodness. What is a song that you would shake your bum to?
Oh, you put me on the spot there. Oh God.
I'm shaking my bum.
Yeah. Well, what springs to mind, and I don't know why, because it's not a song that I've ever owned or downloaded, but it's She Bangs, Ricky Martin.
She bangs. Yes. I am here for that. I am definitely here. And she absolutely does bang. Give her a round of applause and a share and a love. Emma Louise Fusari, everybody. Have an incredible Friday. I love you lots. what an interesting conversation this morning. Having somebody as knowledgeable as Emma, you know, in my circle in the ITQB community is just so valuable. And like I said, the whole point of this show is to share with you as many different ways of thinking as possible, as many different interesting topics as possible. And if you out there would like to come onto the show and have a conversation with me and get ready for the day together, please do let me know. We're booked up to, I'm kind of mid-October at the moment, but we still have opportunities for any of you guys to come and book on and come and have a conversation. If you are not a member of the IATQB Hive and you want to carry on the conversation, or indeed get amongst some of the competitions that we've got running in there at the moment, just search. It says it here, IATQB. It stands for I Am Their Queen Bee, IATQB Hive. And of course, make sure you're following me across the socials, particularly on Instagram, the Queen Bee Dani. Right, you guys, have an incredible Friday. I am going to get tidied around and pack a little bag and my flip charts, and I will be off to Brum. I'm going to Birmingham. We're going to go have a planning weekend. Hopefully, I'll have some things to report back to you on Monday. Next week, we have coming up on the show. Let's have a little sneak peek at what we've got coming up on the show next week. So Monday, we've got the glorious Kerry Hales joining us. On Tuesday, we're going to be talking all things style with Yvonne Phillip. Sandy Balls is going to be joining us on Wednesday. Tracy Hannigan on Thursday, and the glorious Bhavna Radia talking about divorce on Friday. So thank you for joining us. I hope you are shaking your bums. I hope you have had a week to remember. We certainly have. Thank you for all of your love, your support, and your congratulations as we've hit the national press once again, and we've got that fabulous nomination, and we are now finalists for the Great British Entrepreneur Awards. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Let's keep things going. We are flying anyway. Thank you for watching the Short Wise at Rise Up show. I love you. I'll see you on Monday.